Yo, people, welcome back to the Football Heritage Podcast. I know we've been gone for a while, but we're back now. It's 2023. We're coming back with a bang, obviously. I'm going to try and improve the content for you guys this year. And yeah, it's been a while. A lot has happened. But let me just quickly introduce the panel. I'm Denzel. I'm here with Josh, Ori, and Dan. And today we're going to be discussing some football topics. Let's quickly go through the World Cup. Obviously, it was a while ago now. It's happened. But where to start? We'll start with the final. Obviously, for me personally, I feel like that was arguably one of the greatest games of football I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely sensational game of football, end to end, full of drama. The two big players stepped up for their nations. It was a crazy, crazy final. I feel like I'll go on record. I'll say it. Messi is the goal. That's how I start in 2023. I lied to myself for how many years? For most of my life, I lied to myself, telling myself Ronaldo was the goal. But it's Messi, man. He won the World Cup, carried his team to glory. He did what he needed to do. He turned up, unlike the other guy. And yeah, I feel like he solidified himself as the GOAT. But another interesting point that I want to bring up as well is the change of the guard. I feel like bagging a hat-trick in a Champions League final from Mbappe was absolutely insane. So, guys, what were your thoughts on the World Cup final? I'm going to go Josh first.
The World Cup final. Yeah, no, that's a legendary match, a heritage match that we'll look fondly and we'll remember like, yo, we watched this final, you know. Initially I thought, yo, game over, innit? 2-0. I think it was 80th minute was still 2-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Around that. Yeah. And then Mbappe just shows up. Probably it's the most clutch thing I've seen, man. Like the guy showed up big time, innit? To bag 3 goals in the World Cup final. And people will say about his penalties, but bro, the composure, the temperament, that's different. The whole country's on your shoulder. And the guy was ice cold. You didn't look at him and think, oh my days, like you're in trouble. You weren't looking at him like Kane where you're trying to baby him. This is a full-grown man, a full-grown predator. So now big up to him. But yeah, crazy, man. Especially that the last, like the 2 goals that Mbappe scored before extra time, unbelievable. But it felt like the coronation moment for Messi where he cemented himself. Like obviously, if you watch Messi, you already know that, bro. This guy's there's no words to explain him, but it's just like in terms of legacy defining, it was legacy defining him holding the World Cup. Like it was meant to be. And I think like how people talk about Maradona in '86 and just Maradona in general, and rest in peace Pele and rest in peace Maradona. Messi's gonna be like our guy in for where when the new guys come, yeah, we'll talk about him later. But when the new guys start to come, we'll always compare him to Messi. And there's an interesting thing that someone was saying. The next big Argentinian superstar, the next number 10 Argentinian superstar, he's got a lot of boots to fill, man. Maradona and Messi. That's big boots to fill. I think that might be the heaviest number 10.
McAllister will fill it.
Maybe Brazil, but
still. Alexis McAllister. That is nasty.
Well, is he gonna be
I'm trolling. I'm trolling.
Oh, I was about to say,
I'm trolling.
But yeah,
but McAllister, big up to McAllister too, though. He played so well this World Cup.
No, he did well. Increased his stock, definitely.
Yeah. Ori, what are you saying about that final?
Yeah, I think that's probably like the best game I probably have ever watched. Like it was really, really good. And when like Argentina went to like 2-0 up and everything, I was just hoping for like a quick French goal after like halftime. So like, just to make the game exciting. At like 80th minute, I already thought like it was over basically. And then obviously Mbappe stepped up and did what he had to do. And yeah, like Josh said, some people said that, penalties and stuff. But I think like World Cup finals are the last place to like look at stuff like that. Because if you try and talk to the French and tell them that, it was just like we can't replicate how they must have felt in the moment with, so really goals are goals, especially when you put them in context of like how fans react to it at the moment. But was a really good game. I like when there's hype around players before a game, and then the players actually do like live up to the expectations. Messi was really good, Mbappe was really good as well too, and they were just going toe to toe, and that was really cool to see. Um, yeah, in the end, I kind of think everything did work out like and look like quite like poetic. Like I like the fact Mbappe won the Golden Boot. Then obviously Messi winning the actual award and everything. And Mbappe has won already. And like I saw a tweet where someone was saying that like the gap between like not having a World Cup and having one is so much more than having one and then having two. So once you already have one, it's kind of like it's cool, yeah. And like Messi never just had that one, and obviously to a lot of us, like people regarded him as the best of all time even before the World Cup. So to a lot of people, it was just an icing on the cake. To some people, if finalized the debate. But either way, I think after the World Cup, I think now it's almost incredibly clear to see that like he is the greatest ever, or just for our generation, like George was saying, like how every generation has that like person to kind of mark it in terms of Pele, Maradona, and then ours would look back at it as being Messi, and whoever is the next person, most likely looking like Mbappe now, to kind of like mask the next generation of like their own best player, so to say. But yeah, very good final, very good game, and yeah, congrats to Argentina and Messi.
Yeah, Dan, what did you think of the final?
The final, I think, undoubtedly the best game that I've ever seen. I think, and not even in terms of like how good the game was. I think the importance as well, the build up to the game, like because I saw people were trying to explain to like Americans why this game was so big and like kind of the significance of it, and like even the kind of when they've tried to compare it to like NBA players or whatnot, I don't think they've ever like been able to encompass the significance of this game. Like, especially considering that Messi had not won a World Cup before that, Mbappe already had one, and depending on who won, like we could be having two very very different conversations. So, and like I think the way the game played out as well, like Argentina went 2-0 up, it looked like they were cruising, and then in the blink of an eye, Mbappe just turns it on. And even throughout, like even after France equalized and scored the second goal, I thought Argentina were finished. Like they were looking so tired, they were looking ragged, giving the ball away. I thought they were finished. And then they came back with another one. Messi scored, and then when Messi scored the third, I was like, oh, this is it. Like this is his moment. He scored the winning goal in the Champions League final. And then again, there's another twist in the script. And then even in the last second of extra time, when Kolo Muani had that one-on-one and Martinez made a huge save, like there's just so many moments from that game, so many like significant points, and even the penalty shootout, like it was a crazy, crazy game and a crazy, crazy way to end what was really a very, very enjoyable World Cup. And I think the significance of that game will be, I think, in terms of games, like you're saying that like Messi is going to be like our kind of Maradona. I think the same could be said for that World Cup final. I think when people ask our generation, like, what's the best game of football you've seen? I think everyone, the consensus will be that it's that game. I think people will say between Messi, who was the greatest player of all time, and Mbappe, who is the next up, who's going to be one of the greatest players of all time, undoubtedly. And the way it played out, but yeah, I think what it done for Messi's legacy. Most people accepted that Messi was the GOAT anyway, but the fact that he won a World Cup and in the manner that he won the World Cup, I don't think there's any, especially from Ronaldo fans, I don't think there's any debate that can be had. And I just wanted to touch on that real quick. I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you're, for me, if you're a Ronaldo fan and you're not a Man United fan, a Real Madrid fan, or a Portuguese, and you still genuinely think Ronaldo's better than Messi, I'm sorry, you don't know ball, man. You don't know ball.
Now, even if you are any of those things and you still think it's Ronaldo over Messi, then you're still deluded. Like,
I can't take this guy seriously. when he's
bro,
talking about this guy's been
bro.
repping Ronaldo for 15 years,
Yeah,
and you
my
suddenly
eyes are.
he's
Do you know
I
what it is?
can't take him
That's why I
No,
say
seriously.
but you
that's
know
why I
what
give
it is.
them little exclusions, because I hear it when it comes to bias, especially if you've grown up on Ronaldo, especially if you've seen Ronaldo save your team, especially if you're Portuguese. So I hear it, but at this point, there's literally no parameter that you can say Messi's not the greatest player of all time. He's had to have nearly a perfect career, no notches on his career for people to accept that he's the greatest. So at this point, if you still disagree, I'm sorry, you don't know ball, man.
Josh, can I
I feel
quickly
like
respond?
a lot. Okay, wait, that's all. What are you
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say?
Let me just quickly respond to Josh.
Yeah.
I know you're saying that you can't take me serious and all that, but it's like it's throughout their whole careers, it's been close. It's been a debate, but you have to obviously their careers are now coming to an end. So
Smiley.
everyone disagrees with me. Well, but
It's been
let's not lie.
manufactured
Like,
to be a
come
You know
on.
debate.
what? You know what? You know
No,
what? You
no,
know
no.
what?
Let's not rub out Ronaldo and act like he was a bum. Like, come on now. It was very, very
Saying that
close
he's
for
not
a
the greatest of all
long
time doesn't
time.
mean he's a bum.
No, it was close. It was very,
You
very
know,
close. Like
you
they
know
were
what I
neck
can
and neck
say.
for a
You know what I
long
can say
time. Yeah.
about
But now, okay, can I just quickly say now
yeah.
the career is basically Ronaldo's career is finished. Basically, he's gone to Saudi Arabia. Like he's done. He's done out here. And Messi is within the next 3 years. He's going to be out of here too. So now the careers have come to an end. You can look at the totality of everything and then come to the conclusion that Messi is a goal. But throughout the whole period of time in which they were going at it, you can't say that it was just an easy snap. Messi's better than Ronaldo. No, it was neck and
I
neck.
mean,
Like
I
it
It
wasn't.
mean,
was. It was.
You can't
I
look at people
mean,
crazy for saying Ronaldo was better
You
at
know what?
certain points.
I
In that debate.
mean,
Come
You know
on,
what?
man.
You know what? You know what? You know what? What I'll say about Ronaldo is that, like, it seems a bit, but like there is credit to him for even kind of like being in the conversation. That's kind of what I'll give to him. So I don't know whether this is down to how he masked himself in front of like the public and everything, but genuinely there is credit in the fact that like him and Messi were going toe to toe in terms of like the Ballon d'Or and huge awards, and how both of them were going head to head and all of that. That's really cool and everything. But in terms of being the better player, like Messi to
It
me
was
has
clear,
always
man.
been the
It was
best. Yeah,
clear.
it's always been clear Messi was a better player. Now, what Ronaldo has managed to do is, to some extent, match Messi in terms of numbers, in terms of
only goal scoring.
goal scoring, actually, really. So matching
Everyone's
Messi in terms of
forgetting.
goal scoring. Then another thing
Bro,
he's also managed
sorry.
to do is Champions League. I do feel like his Champions League career has also been better than Messi. So I feel like he has managed to do those two things, and while still winning, Ballon d'Ors at intervals. I mean, there was a time where they were close and stuff like that. So he's managed to make it like on paper seem like a debate to be had in some extent. But once it's beyond that, once you start to watch the game, once you start to look at the details, the fine lines, the creativity, the just so much more in depth, then you start to see, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not really much of a debate to be had. Maybe Messi is, just that bit better. And I feel like a lot of people have seen that. Now, the thing is that, like, with bias and everything, it's natural to, like, it's natural. When anybody tries to compare anyone to Henry, I immediately get my guard up. Even though now I'm less this thing with my, like, Arsenal players, because I want to be way more subjective. So I look at things with, like, clearly as much as possible rather than like with bias and stuff. But yeah, I guess it was, it's kind of easy to just like, and a lot of people, like, I feel like they picked Ronaldo as like their best player when they were young and everything, and they just kind of had to keep up with that. And also one thing is that once you convince yourself something, once you start to believe it, then it kind of becomes true in your head.
Hey, cognitive dissonance, man.
Yeah, rather than actually watching it. And that's what when Josh was saying that everybody just watches a game with agendas nowadays. And like that's true. Once you're watching a game with an agenda, you will see what you want to see. You can
Yeah.
you can create information based on what you actually want to, rather than actually is what you're seeing in there, which is like what affects like a lot of people in terms of someone can make 100 brilliant passes in a day, but you're watching with an agenda. So, they look like normal passes to you. Once they misplace a pass, that's the one you see, and you're like, oh, this guy's not really that good and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just my take on the whole Ronaldo Messi thing.
I'll say just to round it off.
Yeah.
I'll say the way I view it, anyways. When it comes when we're talking about the GOAT debate, I don't like to kind of put it as like first, second, third. I think tiers is the best kind of way to put it. And I think Messi is tier one. I think Messi's above everyone else. And then for me, tier 2 is Ronaldo, Pele, and Maradona. And whichever one of them you have number
Pele's up
2,
there. No, Pele's tier
I
one.
don't think he's up there with
Pele's
Messi.
tier
What?
one.
I don't think he's up there with
Pele's
Messi.
tier one.
I don't think he's up there with Messi.
Nah.
I think you can have. I think of
Wait,
them tier
what,
2,
Josh? You're
you
not
can
saying
make a
Ronaldo's number
reasonable
2?
argument for any of them 3 to be the second greatest of all time, and I'll hear it. I might not agree with it, but I'll hear it. Any of them 3, Ronaldo, Maradona, and Pele, they can be number 2 all time. But for
I
me,
think
I don't think
the main 3 are Pele, Maradona, and Messi.
True.
Those are the 3.
What?
True. But to
Oh my
me,
god!
But I think
me,
I think
This is
Ronaldo.
nuts.
You can
How-
make arguments that Ronaldo is better than Maradona and Pele, if you want to. I don't think you can make the argument he's better than Messi, but you can make a reasonable argument he's better than them two, and I'll hear it. But I think that's why I think you can group them in the same tier, and it's better to put them in a tier rather than 1, 2, 3.
The reason why I put it as tier 1s and the like how you're saying the tier 1 of Maradona, Pele and Messi is because they defined their generation. They
That's
are
what
the
You don't
3
think Ronaldo
staples.
defined the
Bro,
generation?
that's nuts to say. Wait, you
yeah,
can't rub
because,
out
because
Ronaldo's
when
part
people
of it,
look
but
back,
he's not.
when people look
What
back
happened?
at our gen, the person who they're going to point out is Messi. Let's be real. Like,
Yeah, but that
Ronaldo.
doesn't mean that. Wait, so you're basically
Yeah,
saying
but
because of the time periods,
yeah,
Maradona and Pele are greater than Ronaldo? Is that what you're saying? Greater?
Yeah.
You think Maradona and Pele were greater than Ronaldo?
But the thing is that they're
We're
all
still
in
talking
different.
about
The thing is that
Maradona to this
the
day,
thing,
bro.
the thing is
We're
they're
still
all.
Bro, they're
talking
gonna
about
be
you don't
talking
think they'll
about
talk about
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo in
The thing is
20
they're
years'
all.
time?
The thing is
Come
they're
on
all.
now.
They're all in different eras, and like comparing players in eras, it's always been a very tricky one. But like
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
saying, like Pele was the standout of his era. Maradona was the standout as well. Like, do you know what he has to get to be at the level where like nobody around you can even compete in terms of like everything. Like Pele was so far ahead of everybody around then. Maradona too was so far ahead of everybody when he was playing. So it's like it brings about the debate. I always say I never watch Pele and never watch Maradona. I can't really come, and it's a different time frame. But yeah, I can't lie to you. The way I see people talk about Pele and Maradona, like to just put Ronaldo above them, it just seems a bit. I don't know.
Exactly.
It
That's
just
why
seems a
Nah,
I
bit.
don't
seems
actually have a
what?
goat. Even though Messi's still the best player I've ever seen, I don't have a goat.
Ooh.
But I
Yeah.
can
Oh
just see
man.
from the way people talk about them, the 3 are Messi, Maradona, and Pele. Those are the
But have you not? But
Nah, man.
did you not just make the point that when you watch football, you watch with agendas, so you see what you want to see, and especially
Mm,
when stuff is not as documented, when stats are not as nowhere near as widely available, when games are nowhere near as widely available. Like I can't remember who was talking about it, but they were talking about George Best, and they said one of the reasons why George Best, obviously he's a all-time great player, but one of the reasons why he was considered the greatest of all time is because you'd maybe only get to watch George Best once a month, and you'd see him do something great. So in your mind, it'd stick out a lot more because you saw less of it. So especially in them eras, I don't
but
think
they
you
only
can
watch them
base
once a month.
if it
They
wasn't
weren't playing
nearly
as
as
many
widely
games,
available.
bro.
yeah, most things where it was mostly like the big games, and like a lot of people even used to hear stuff from the radio. So a lot of people didn't even actually watch games even back then. It was
Yeah.
very selective. Yeah. So
The only
true.
And
thing that we
consistency
say,
wasn't nearly as like if you look at
we say that
a lot
even
of
though
players.
football's
Sorry, go on.
even though football's more available nowadays, a lot of people just watch highlights.
That is
Not
true.
many people
But
actually watch the games through and through. Like, let's not
But
pretend like
the consistency
football
demanded is a lot
usage
more
and
though. Like
hmm?
the if you go back to the 90s and the 80s, there's loads of players that were nowhere near as consistent as what the players are today. But
that's
Exactly.
they're
true.
That's the
like
thing.
perfect example. Paul Gascoigne is seen as one of the greatest England players of all time. Go through and look at his career. In his prime, he was 27 playing for Rangers. He went to the Italian league, which was the best league in the world at the time, and he got ran out of the league. But people call him one of the greatest midfielders in English history. If he played nowadays, he'd be viewed as Paul Pogba, probably even worse.
Interesting
Agendas
to
is
Yes,
see.
that's
crazy,
why
especially if you
that's
look
why
at that.
generations is important.
Wait,
How yeah, what are you saying?
I was gonna say in terms of tiers, like, wait, so we're talking about greatest of all time. We're measuring it in tiers here. So you're saying that Ronaldo isn't in the same tier as a Pele and Maradona in terms of greatness?
I think he is.
He definitely is. Like, bro,
I think he is.
what are we talking about here? Like, It's
I don't know,
if
man.
Yeah.
if you
Ronaldo's
slap,
consistency puts him
The
in
thing
that
is that
tier.
the thing is
For
that
20
look,
exactly,
years.
and that's one
the
thing.
thing is that
One
look,
thing.
the thing is
One
that
thing I
look,
want to quickly highlight though
yeah,
is longevity as well. We need to take
Yeah,
that into
yeah,
account.
yeah.
When
that's
you're talking
true,
about greatness,
that's true.
you have to take it into account.
That's true.
Ronaldo's had the longevity.
For
He
20
has that.
years,
He doesn't have a World
he's
Cup
been.
though. He doesn't
Is
have a
that
World
what
Yeah,
Cup
we're
though.
doing? But
yeah,
okay,
but
but
for a
Josh,
team
Josh,
sport
Josh,
though,
the
if
thing
you
is,
look
the
at his
thing is,
other
Josh, can I just say
achievements,
quickly, Josh?
look at his
If
other
Messi did,
achievements.
if Messi didn't win that World Cup, you'd still call him the GOAT. So what?
Yeah,
Why are you
exactly.
doing that?
Yeah, because
Exactly.
What are you
his
doing?
level of talent is
Exactly.
unparalleled.
the thing is that
That's another thing.
right now, like all we have, like all we're basically using on Pele, Maradona. Obviously, they have a World Cup and like people's perception of them. But what I'm saying is also that like when we're in future and everything, and we're all older and like there are kids and stuff, and they ask us about, I know our time era, because a lot of them too wouldn't have watched Messi and Ronaldo. The way we're going to describe Messi and Ronaldo to them is going to be so different, and it's going to be quite obvious that Messi is the best player around this era and this generation, based on how we talk, based on how people perceive him, based on how everything is. And from what I'm getting, that's kind of how I see Pele and Maradona. I genuinely like the way people talk about them. I genuinely have the same. That's generally the same way I will talk to people about Messi. That like he was the greatest ever, really. So I just don't understand how those two can be mentioned in the same breath. In fact, for a lot of people, actually, Pele and Maradona were actually even better than Messi. And these are people who have also seen Messi live in the flesh and who have seen Pele, Maradona, whatever. And they do still think these players are better. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, comparing
To be
football
honest,
in different
it's all
eras
subjective.
it's never been,
Mm,
it's
mm.
never really been.
There's no
You say it's
objective way to
subjective.
measure it.
No,
From
there
what
there
I've
is
seen, though, Messi and Ronaldo are the best from what I've seen, or clearly, obviously. But yeah,
obviously, but you see, that's so the two things that we need to factor is that when you're looking at football from like the 60s, you gotta remember the minor things. So let's say the ball. The balls were
Mm.
much heavier back in the day, so you can't be
Mm.
as
That's what my dad
aesthetically
tried to say
pleasing.
to me, but at the
No,
same
but these
time,
are
you got
factors.
to think about the
physicality
average.
to everything too. You know what Maradona had to go through in that World Cup.
Yeah, that
Bro,
England
have
game
you
was
seen some of Pele's
crazy.
tackles?
But big
Did
man,
you see
but
some of Pele's tackles on him?
the average footballer back then is not as good as the average footballer now.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
the
Yeah,
standard
because
of
of the
football
improvement.
That's true.
and
That's
the
true.
level of
But
competition is a lot higher now in this
it is a lot
generation.
higher, but
No,
So there's so many
that is why,
pros and cons.
and that is why I say the GOAT. I don't. There's not a specific GOAT, but you look at who is the best player of their specific generation, who is the furthest in their generation. You don't necessarily compare them player to player because that's not fair. But you compare them in their generation. Pele was the best player of his generation. Maradona was the best player of his generation. Messi was the best player of his
But
generation.
so
And
so
these
just
three
because sorry, go on.
transcended their generation. They weren't just only the best; they transcended. Like their impact in their generation is different to 99.9% of footballers that we're talking about. It's
So
not like
only one player per generation can be in that debate, is what you're saying. Because
that's how it
so
seems like.
if you have two players that play in the same generation that are very, very clearly better than anyone that's ever played the game, only one of them can be considered the GOAT. The other one can't.
It depends how good the other one is, though, because I don't think Ronaldo is that close to
is
Messi.
Ronaldo
If it
Who's
was
the
Messi versus
who's the
Maradona in the same generation,
Who's the
I
third
think
best
that's a
player?
different one.
Who's the third best player of our generation?
Of our generation.
Yeah,
Of our generation, it's up for debate. It's up for debate.
It's up for debate. The fact that it's up for debate shows no one's close.
Exactly.
No, if we're
It's
going
probably
based on
Neymar, but
quality,
Neymar's
it's
not
And
close to
Neymar.
what we
Ronaldo.
measure in our generation? When does our generation start and when does it end? That's the
It's
thing.
probably for me. It's Neymar. It's either Neymar or if you want to say Neuer for consistency and impact and influence, then I can hear that as well.
Is Ronaldo closer to Messi than he is to Neymar?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's closer
definitely.
to Neymar.
No, it's close
I
to
don't-
Messi.
But
disagree.
Neymar didn't achieve enough,
Oh,
though.
come on.
Well, are
man.
we basing it based on player quality or achievements or everything put together?
Everything.
Because if it's everything put together, then he's closer to Messi.
Because that's another thing Ronaldo has over especially Maradona anyway, achievements. Like Maradona won Serie A and I think he won Europa League, which was considered a lot better back in the day, but Ronaldo won 5 Champions Leagues. His achievements are clear.
No, but if you look at but you have to contextualize it. He won it with Napoli. Those are only Napoli's two.
That's why he's rated so highly because he won the World Cup and he won the Europa League with 2 very mediocre squads.
He took Napoli.
That's why he's considered the greatest.
In fact, in terms of like today's what he did for Napoli is kind of like Messi going to like, let's say, who's like 17th right now? I don't know, Nottingham Forest or something else, a team slightly higher,
What does it
and
I don't know
matter?
about Nottingham Forest.
and
Nottingham
winning.
Forest is a little strange.
Maybe like
Okay, maybe like
Maybe like him
West
going
Ham
to like, nah, not West Ham. It'll be like him going to like
or
maybe
Everton
like
back in the
Brighton
day.
or something.
yeah,
Someone
yeah,
who's like 8th or 9th.
yeah, kind of like winning them the title.
And it was the same in the
Mm.
86 World Cup. The Argentina team wasn't as good as a lot of other teams.
So yeah, you see, in terms of quantity, Maradona doesn't have the same amount of Ronaldo, but in terms of the quality is a big factor.
Can I ask
Well, that
Can I
is
ask a quick
something.
question? Wait,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
a generation is what? How many years to call something a
5
generation?
to
What
10.
do you think?
I don't know.
That's a generation. Or just 10
Yeah, 5
years
to
is
10.
a generation.
Yeah, for me.
Damn.
Mm,
Okay. I feel like that's a short period of time.
I think
Because
probably
with
more
Messi
than
and
that, maybe
Ronaldo,
20 years.
they've been doing it for 20 plus years. And
Exactly,
then
exactly.
these man did it for 10, and now you're saying like, come on, like what was
I think
Pele
the
was
big
like
thing with
what
me
from
with
Pele was
Ronaldo
like
is just the
60s to
quality, man.
70s, right? And then 60s to like late 70s ish, but internationally it was 60s to 70s, roughly. Right?
But then
And then Maradona was what was the time period for Maradona? It was
80s to 90s.
exactly. So it's only 10 years.
To be fair, I think
Like these
Maradona
men,
went
do you know,
to like 93, 94, so about 13, but even then it's not to the level of Ronaldo, and especially during
it's
the
not
end
to
of their
that same
careers.
level.
Pele was in New York Cosmos, and I
Exactly.
don't even know where Maradona was. Like Ronaldo was 38 playing in the Premier League, scoring nearly 20 goals.
You have to contextualize it. Like the rate in which Messi and Ronaldo may go, I think it's unfair to rub out Ronaldo like that. Like the
Yeah,
rate
I think just his
in which he's
consistency and the
been
level that
going,
he
I don't know,
maintains.
man.
He has to
Calling
be that.
you,
it's insane. He's been
calling
30
you
years old, and it's taken us how long for us to get to a point where we can finally rub him out?
That's what I'm
Like
saying. Bro,
you know how
you don't know how many
insane that
years I've
is.
been waiting to hate on this guy.
You know
I've
how
been
insane
waiting
that is.
years to rip this
It's
guy.
taken us 20 years, 20 like that's our whole lifetime.
Yeah.
Like basically to try and get to a point where we can now rub this guy out. We can't be saying that Pele and Maradona are above him, in my opinion. I just don't agree with that.
You
But
definitely
obviously,
can.
everyone's
You definitely can.
everyone's
You can
entitled to
definitely
their
say
own
that.
There's
opinion.
arguments to be made, but that's why I have them on the same tier, because you can argue one for one reason, you can argue another for another reason. But for me, I just don't think any of them have arguments over Messi. I think Messi has like literally everything. He's like his career is the
Yeah,
perfect career.
Messi's
in my
clear
opinion.
of all of them, to be honest. But
It's
we've
subjective,
spoken,
isn't it, I
we've
guess.
done good debate, and we've done
You know, I was
World
thinking
Cup
today
talk.
though, in an alternative universe, somewhere far, far away, he might have won the World Cup, you know.
Who?
CR7 in an alternative
When and
metaverse
with who?
universe, whatever, he might have won the World Cup.
Where
Would have
Portugal
been a
will win
funny
this World
conversation.
Cup.
You never know. If buts and maybes, he didn't. That's the thing. He had how many opportunities and he didn't win
Yeah.
it. So Messi did win it. So we can't talk about alternate universes. It's happened now.
No, but
And
it would have
Messi,
been funny to just see what the conversation would be like if Ronaldo
it
had
would
won
be
the
completely
World Cup.
different. I feel like if Ronaldo won the World Cup, people would be saying he's like. It's
I would
just
have still disagreed. People would definitely have
An Argentina Portugal final would have been one for the books.
Crazy.
But Ronaldo was even like not even starting games at this point, so it was like it wasn't even like yeah. I mean, credit.
I feel like if those two went up against each other in the final, that would have been the GOAT debate settled. And then if both of them performed, like say for example, let me break it down. If like Ronaldo did what Mbappe did, and then it went to penalties, and whoever won, then people would just say that person would be the. I think it would have been the narrative anyway, in my opinion, because if the World Cup was the one thing that neither of them had, they'd all had. Ronaldo had the Euros, Messi had the Copa America. It was just that one final piece in the mantelpiece, and Messi claimed it. But it's everything's subjective in life. I feel like Messi winning the World Cup kind of, even to anyone who was biased towards Ronaldo, it kind of sealed the debate. But we spent a lot of time talking about the World Cup and the GOAT debate. But obviously, we're back to Premier League football, and a lot has been going on. I'm gonna go straight to Arsenal because they're the teams. The big dogs.
The big
Yeah.
dogs.
Anyway, let's talk about Arsenal. I'm gonna go to the two Arsenal correspondents first. So I'm gonna go to Dan first. Talk to me how you're feeling at the moment.
I'm nice, man. I'm nice. I think Arsenal's they're doing the business so far. Obviously, got tough couple games coming up, but I mean, there's nothing to complain about. Like if you look at the performances that the players have been making, a lot of players have stepped up, like and at different times as well. So like at the start of the season, Xhaka stepped up and he was quite comfortably our best player. I mean, obviously against Brighton and the two games before the World Cup break, Odegaard was incredible, like really, really good. And even players that were already playing at a high level, like Saka and Martinelli, have stepped up loads. So for me, there's nothing really to complain about. Arsenal just need to keep focusing on themselves and maintain their consistency, do the business that they need to do in January, and then we'll see where they finish. But this for me, this is probably the best chance that Arsenal have of winning the league. And if Edu and Arteta don't go out and in January and do all that they can to bring it home, it's a massive missed opportunity.
Yeah, Ori, how are you feeling about the situation at the Emirates at the moment?
Yeah, I think this is like the first serious time in a while that we have a chance to actually go for the title, and that's just insane to say, especially like considering where we've been coming from. But so far we've basically been doing everything right. 14 wins out of 16 is just it's way better than I could have ever like even imagined. Right now we're like 8 wins away from matching our total win tally from last season, which is crazy because it's not even half of the season yet. Um, I think one thing we're really doing right this season is beating like the teams we're expected to beat. And I think that's like very important when you want to like try and push for the title, or try and finish with as much points as possible. Because obviously you'd always struggle against the big teams regardless of how good you are. But just picking up points where you're meant to is can be the final piece basically. So yeah, I just say we just need to carry on doing that. And then obviously, like Dan said, the January window, that's really, really important for us now. I like the fact that we're so much clearer at this point because it really just shows that, no one can deny right now we are, trying to push for a title. And yeah, what we do in this window is very, very, determinant of that. At least two players in, fix up the depth a bit, carry on playing good football, and we'll just see where it goes. It's obviously not the end of the world if we don't win the title and stuff like that, but it feels like now that we're in it, we might as well just, that's kind of how it looks like. So yeah, hopefully we can do it.
Josh, what do you think of the situation and how Arsenal are doing at the moment?
They're doing very well, man. And that's one thing about champions is they have. It seems that they have an air of inevitability. When they play. Very I don't know. It's just so professional in a sense where everything's they're not struggling. Yeah, they're like against Brighton. Maybe the last 10 minutes. They might have switched off, but in general, like I don't think there's been a game where Arsenal has been second best per se. Really, I can't think of one. They've always been on the front foot, and they definitely have to keep this up. It's a great opportunity, and they have to take it. I know Ori was saying it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I don't know. 7 points clear in January, I feel like the aim should just know we have to win it. Because that's a big lead, and you're looking at Man City. They're not looking quite as imposing as they usually are, but there's always a possibility that they can switch on. So in that sense, Arsenal they just got to focus on themselves. January in terms of buying players, what's that Ukrainian don called?
Mudrik,
Mudrik or whatever is in name, innit?
but it should be a midfielder though. We should be looking at someone to back up Partey because when he inevitably breaks down, I don't want to see El Neni in the middle of a title challenge.
Yeah, party replacement will be cool. I don't know. Probably one attacker, one midfielder will be ideal.
For me. That's
I think that'll be ideal. Yeah, someone who can like score goals, and then someone who can like patch up our midfield if anything happens during the season. Yeah, I think that'll be very ideal.
100%. Obviously, ESR's coming back. That'll be a boost.
Yeah, it's
big
like
boost for you,
a
man.
new signing.
Obviously, coming back from injury, has he played the season?
I think he has at the start, but not many
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, I think he has. Yeah, just
So obviously that's a bit of a worry in terms of he has to build fitness back up, but still having him back is because he's a very good player. I do like ESR. So yeah, bringing in another probably a winger because I don't think you actually the only two wingers you really have is Saka and Martinelli. I mean Nelson isn't necessarily like a winger, and then I don't know about the Marquinhos. I haven't seen him, so definitely a winger and maybe a midfielder backup. But if you can't get one, I wouldn't be too paranoid in that sense. There's no point stockpiling in case you want to buy on quality, someone that you can trust and you actually envision. Envision actually being part of this squad and actually having quality. So I wouldn't panic buying a midfielder. You're seeing Chelsea linked with Fernandes for 110 million. The market is ridiculous at times. So I think just getting the winger is more of the priority in my eyes because just in case. I don't see Saka getting injured, but I could see more Martinelli more likely, or he could go up front. So just having another winger up there is I think is vital for Arsenal. But yeah, no, Arsenal are doing very well. They're looking on track to beat some all timers in terms of the points tally. So it's good for them because Arsenal have they've struggled for a long. They've been suffering. So it's good to see them back. As much as I know people like to banter and see this, that, it's good to always see top teams doing well, especially historic teams. So, yeah, it's good to see Arsenal back on top.
Yeah, I can't deny the. I feel like with Arsenal, we just need to take it game by game. I would say. I feel like obviously you have the bigger picture in mind because of you're gonna wanna obviously challenge for the title and win the league. But just I'd say take it game by game. If you just look at the next opponent and think we can beat them, then it will continue to build and build and build, and then it'll get to a point where you look at the bigger picture and winning the title. But it's still early days. But you guys, you're playing. The thing is about Arsenal as well. I'll give them credit for. It's not like you're just scraping wins. You're comfortably outplaying teams, and you're probably playing the best football in the league at the moment. So that's another thing that I'd be confident about as well, because there's a pattern of play and it's working, and you're getting results from it, and you're beating the teams that you should be beating as well. Like you've only dropped 4 points in January, so you have to respect it, what they're doing. Obviously, City. I think people will just focus on City. I think I think you shouldn't be too worried about City, if I'm being honest. I don't know. The way I'm looking at City this season, they could prove me wrong. They probably will prove me wrong saying it. But I think City are more focused on Champions League than the league.
I agree, but I think they're still
If I'm
dangerous
being
in the
honest,
league.
they still want the league.
Weirdly, even as it's going now, I see United like sneakily going ahead of City at some point.
United, yeah,
It's
I was
possible.
we'll probably get onto United, but they've impressed me a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening yet. I feel like we're still a couple tools away from it. But we'll just continue giving Arsenal their praises because of they're playing well. And Saka as well. I want to highlight Saka. Was it 6 assists and was it 6 and 6?
World class.
6 goals?
Yeah,
World class, man.
That's insane. That's a crazy output. So big up to him. Martinelli as well. I know Ori gave him a challenge to get double-digit goals. It looks like he's actually on course to get
He's
that.
on 7.
So exactly. So have to give him his credit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You manage clinical as well. Like even with the Brighton game, I know people were talking about the ending, but Brighton are one of those teams where they can just turn it on at any point and bag goals. So I wouldn't be too worried about what happened at the end of the Brighton game because we bagged 4 and you made it comfortable for yourselves. But yeah, obviously Arsenal are doing well at the moment. But one team that I want to talk about next, we got ADAJ3 talking about is Darwin and Nova Werner. So we'll get on to Liverpool. Obviously they played today.
How much did they lose by? I saw it was 2-1 and
3-1. It was 3-1. They lost 3-1.
And Brentford had 2 disallowed goals as well. That they were disallowed, but they were subjective. One of them was subjective.
Yeah. Let me quickly. I'll quickly talk about them. With Liverpool, I think because of the past, people aren't getting onto them as much as they should. I feel like their past reputation is allowing them to get away with murder because of really and truly, like what Brentford. I know Brentford Brentford have played one more game than them, but Brentford are 2 points behind them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They're sitting what? Are they 6th or 7th right now?
They're having a quality season.
Brentford are
separately,
7.
though. Like they're doing very well.
Brentford are
themselves.
7th, so Liverpool are 6th. Okay.
Yeah, Liverpool 6.
We've got David saying Saka is not world class. It's a
He's world class. He's world class.
I wouldn't. I feel like that's a bit.
What more does the kid need to prove?
Champs.
He's done it on every level, every stage.
Nah, you have to do it in champs.
He's done it in the World Cup.
Yeah, but Rashford had a good World Cup too. Is he world
Man
class?
has more knockout goals in the
Rashford
World Cup
is
than
world
Ronaldo.
class.
You think Rashford's world class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is okay? At the moment, they're playing at a world class level, but I don't.
But
I feel
Saka
like in
been
the
playing
past,
at world class level for 2 years now.
I feel like in the past I've been too quick to hand out world class tags. So maybe if
I
you know,
hear
I'll
you,
be
I
honest.
hear you.
Actually, the way in which they both performed in the World Cup, I think it's reasonable to call them world class. I wouldn't say they're comfortably world class.
How many right wingers would you take ahead of Saka in the world?
Right now, at this current
Yeah.
moment in time, I wouldn't take any. If I'm being real.
And that
Let
guy's
me
not
think.
world
I'm gonna
class.
take Salah.
Salah, more Salah.
For me, Salah
I just
is one.
But
we've
Saka
had
is
this
having a
debate before on
better
the show.
season than Salah is, you know.
He is, but I'd still take Salah
Yeah.
over Saka.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But now that I think I'll give him though. Yeah, I think he is world class. I think it's fair to say. But it's,
I do agree with the world class thing being thrown about a bit.
yeah,
I don't know.
we need to be
It's
careful.
always like I don't know. It's like there's a line between world class and no world class, and sometimes like it just feels weird to not call a player world class when they're like performing at a world class level. But like I don't know.
We did say our criteria last time, I believe, was you have to be top 5 in your position in the world. Is that what that was criteria we had, right?
Even that, I don't really like that criteria.
Yeah, I don't really like that because someone can, you know, is someone cannot be top 5.
Some
and still be
positions are
world
deeper
class.
than
Yeah,
others.
some positions, yeah, and some positions are just having lots of quality in it. Like,
So you can feel
We need to do another one of them world class, bro. I think he's even gotten worse, bro. He's gotten worse because you're saying Saka's world class. I don't quite agree. Salah is unanimously world class. You can't name another world class right winger.
Yeah, the right wing spot is dried up.
It's only players that were previously world class that you'd say.
I'll say world
So
class
like players like maybe like Gnabry or Sane or
Messi.
players like that.
Yeah,
Messi.
Messi's not really he's not really been a winger for me.
He's not a right
Messi
winger
just
no more.
you know.
On top
Before
of
the World
class,
Cup, but you know what it is? I feel like with Saka, a lot of people don't give him his flowers. Like before the World Cup, if you'd have said who's better, Saka or Ousmane Dembele, most people who are not Arsenal fans would comfortably say Ousmane Dembele. Comfortably.
True. And he's better than Dembele.
Yeah. He's been way more consistent than Dembele for the last 2 years.
She just is not liking this.
He's outperformed Dembele for 2 years, has he not?
Yeah, he has.
I'm not saying Dembele might be more talented than him, but that doesn't mean he's
output
better
over
player
talent, man. It's output over talent. You have to put in that. You actually have to
It's the same with
produce on the pitch.
It's the same with Phil Foden. Like Phil Foden's, he's probably a better player than Saka, but Saka outperforms him consistently.
No, Saka is he's a very good footballer. I do rate him, especially like his IQ. Like the guy's played left back, midfield.
Would you say Foden's world class then?
Huh?
Would you say Foden's world class?
God forbid, Foden's not world class. What's he done? Who's this guy? Who's Foden? I like Foden, but who's Foden? World class? Jesus, what is that?
Okay, so David's back in the corner. They got Saka being great for 1.5 years doesn't make him world class. I need to see it for 3 years. There's a difference between playing world class and actually being world class.
It's definitely more than 1.5 years. Let's not kid ourselves, man. It's definitely more. Even when Arsenal were in the mud. Even when Arsenal were in the mud.
But he's been playing at this level, I would say, for
years. Since more or less since he broke into the team.
At this level?
More or less. Bro, I remember we were in Benfica getting demolished, and this guy, we were like 2-0 down, and this guy single-handedly dragged us back, and we won.
But the thing is that he has improved. Like this season is the season I can say that he's playing like at a world-class level. Not to discredit his other season. Like his last season, he was really good, but this season, he's definitely stepped it up a tier even higher. Even, I don't know. The world class.
And we're saying 3 years. How many players have been great for 3 years? If we're using that criteria, if Saka hasn't been great for 3 years, how many? How
I
many
think
have?
Salah has over the past.
How many years
years
was Van
I'd
Dijk
say-
great for? Because Van Dijk's world class. How many years was he great for?
He's been
2
great for 3
seasons.
years.
2. So Van Dijk. So under that
2.
criteria, he's not world class.
But that season that he had was
Well, that is really
insane.
bad.
Like,
Yeah.
But when
that's
you win,
like
when you win a
That's my
champs,
point.
when
You
you're
can't, like 3
You
seasons
transcend,
is
you
wild.
transcend, you transcend like this thing, then it takes.
That's what
I
I'm saying.
think-
Like the goalposts are being shifted for Saka, because especially when it comes to foreign players, Ousmane Dembele can have 6 good months and people will start making outrageous shouts.
But
People will start comparing him to
never
Mbappe
actually
again.
Dembele's never actually been world class though. Like what I like about
Yeah.
Dembele, I've always said
people
He's
is
had
his
the
called him world
talent.
class for
potential to
years,
be.
for time.
But genuinely, I know if Dembele is having the season that Saka is having right now, there will genuinely be no question. People would easily call him world class.
But no,
Facts,
Dembele did well last
facts.
season though. When he
Even
came back,
Rafinha,
he
or he's not lying.
Rafinha was doing
There
at
is-
Arsenal what Saka's doing. People are saying Rafinha's world class.
That's
You don't
true.
rate Rafinha.
Rafinha's
You don't
never
rate
been
him.
world class in his life.
But if
I never
Rafinha was
understood
doing
that.
what
Just
Saka's
think
doing,
about
he'd be called world class.
think about what Saka's doing right now. He has 6 goals and 6 assists, and like he's
that's good
constantly
numbers.
balancing
Bro,
that.
he's-
Like even if he gets
He's
anywhere
arguably the
near
best player on the best
if
team.
he gets
in England.
anywhere near to, remember that Hazard season where he had like 15 apiece. Like that seemed like the pinnacle of like being a balanced player and like being world class. Really, like if Saka's matching that, still putting in good performances from right wing, I don't know. Like at the end of this season, I think I'll be able to say he's world class. I'm still just, you know.
Yeah, let's not.
for me, he's
I'm
there
not trying to
already.
give it to him yet.
But
We
I
have
think
to let
at
the
the end
season
of this season, I feel like it'll be very clear that he is world class. Yeah. A
But
Premier
he's
League title would add to that very, very much.
He's definitely playing at a world class level right now.
Yeah.
100%.
How long do you think he's been playing at that level?
I think just this season.
So last
At the
season,
se-
you think he's
He
elevated?
wasn't.
this
He wasn't
season?
playing at the same level. Yeah, he's elevated. He hasn't. He
Yeah. So
wasn't
last
playing
season, you
like
think
this
he was
last
like
season.
the elite level, just
I
below
think
world
last
class.
season he was very good. Like he was
He was
one
very.
of-
He was.
very
Yeah.
good, yeah.
But
But
just
he wasn't-
you think
he
just below world class last season?
Just below.
Yeah,
Okay,
he wasn't world
okay.
class last season.
I think just below. I think this season he has stepped it up, and if he keeps on going at this form and gets better, then I think at the end of this season, you know, a lot more people would call him world class. But I think it's still. I like it when there is no debate. I feel like when there is no debate, I think that's when you are genuinely world class. Like when we talk about Salah, no one even like brings up anything in terms of like being world class. You know, your base.
But even for Salah, bro, after Salah scored 40 goals in his first season and
Yeah.
had 2 bad games at the next, and people calling him a one-season wonder.
Yeah, that's
Bro,
true.
you're never gonna have no debate, man.
A lot of people are too quick to judge. I think about the things that Salah has done actually to even be like regarded as like, you know, he's had to work overtime. Like but yeah.
That's the downside, isn't it? If you're a great footballer, if you're good technically, you're always gonna get a bit more of a pass, isn't it? It's easier.
That's true.
So players like Salah, you have to make up. That's same with Ronaldo, bro. It's the same thing. When someone compares you to someone that's you're not as good as them from a technical standpoint, you have to make up twice as much. It's just how it is, man. Saka is a good footballer. I would like you're saying Dembele is probably more talented, so Saka has to do even more. It's same with Foden. Foden's probably more talented, so Saka has to do more. It's just the reality of sometimes.
And it's Arsenal tax. If Saka played for City, people would say he's world class.
Yeah, I was actually going to say
if
that.
he played for City, people would say he's world class. They wouldn't even debate it.
And wait, Josh, you said technical. Saka's technically very technically sound.
He's good. He's not. I wouldn't say he's like world class.
He's a very good technical.
He's good though. He's very good. He's a quality
tidy
player.
Yeah, but anyway, we skipped over ADAJ3's Darwin Núñez comment. Darwin Núñez another runner, guys? We did have this debate on the GC.
He's better at some things than Werner, but there's a lot of parallels to be made.
Yeah.
It's that finishing, man. It's that finishing. Like
this finishing is so shit.
Yeah, as a striker, like of all the qualities where you can lack, of all the qualities, like why would he have to be finishing where like he struggled? Like it's just, you know, yeah, his finishing is just really, really shocking. Yeah. Like and it's always annoying when a player can get themselves in the right positions, but they can't like actually put in the finishing touches. It's just yeah. The finishing is really concerning. What do you
I think if he was offering like loads of other in terms of like link up play and stuff, people would kind of look past it. But especially because firstly because he's aesthetically very awful to watch, and secondly because his like he's not really creating chances in terms of like his playmaking. He's not really kind of doing loads of other stuff. People are really honing in on that, like finishing. Like Jesus is a poor finisher as well, but because Jesus is a very strong dribbler, creates chances for his teammates, he gets that kind of pass. Whereas Darwin, nah, man,
Players
that
like
guy is not
Darwin
good.
are incredibly useful. They stretch teams. Like you
But
don't
Werner
always
does the
want
same.
players that are always ball to feet.
But you
He
don't
does a
need
lot
that at
to make.
Liverpool. Liverpool
Yeah,
didn't sign
Werner
him
does
to
the
You do
do
same.
need
that.
that.
They have
He's always
so many.
useful to have.
No, but Josh, they didn't sign him to do that. They signed him to bag goals. Like Liverpool have enough
Yeah.
man that stretch teams. You literally have Mo Salah on your team. Like Liverpool, and another thing, I think the reason why
Let's 30,
I'd
man.
be,
Let the guy's legs rest a bit, man. You don't need to always be running in.
the reason why I understand the concern around Darwin Núñez is that with Liverpool's recruitment system, not many players have come in and failed. The way they set up is kind of set up for you to do well, especially as a striker, because they create a lot of chances. And the thing is, he's getting the chances, he's not scoring. That's the worry with Darwin
He's
Núñez.
missed the most big chances in the league.
Yeah, it's very, very worrying. He's not. It seems like he has like two of the same foot. Like the way he runs, like the ball's always getting tangled in his legs. Like he has the right idea, but it's just the execution is off. Maybe with time he'll get better. But another thing I'll be worried about as well is they've gone and signed Cody Gakpo. I know he's a winger, but I don't think they go out and sign Gakpo if Darwin Núñez is like playing well. I feel like they're looking at the Núñez situation and thinking, okay, even with Cody Gakpo, let's say Diaz comes back, we can just slot Gakpo into the 9 position and play that front three of Diaz, Gakpo, and Salah. And Darwin Núñez is like, you have to hit the ground running. You have to, especially at Liverpool. Like Liverpool don't really have time to waste. He's just been poor so far, but obviously I saw some talks about people saying, "Oh, maybe you should play off the wing." They didn't sign him to do that.
He's really fast, but nah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. His this thing. I think it also just really stems down to like his decision making and like, he doesn't really strike me as a particularly like, sorry to use the word, but like a smart footballer, so to say. Like, it seems like it's like he really rushes his thought process, whatever like his situations, and like he just tends to not be calm or think like rationally. Because like in terms of striking the ball, he can strike the ball. I've seen him strike the ball lots of times. He has a good ball striking, but just doesn't actually think. Even creating chances, like you said, when you said Denzel, you said that he should try. People are saying he should try being on the wing. Like as a winger, you need top-notch decision making, and like that's one thing that he struggles the most in. Like when he gets to a certain position, he doesn't know whether to shoot, doesn't know whether to pass it. He's always kind of caught in two minds, so to say. But yeah, I don't know how that can be fixed. Coaching, I don't know. Seems to me more like a mental thing rather than like an ability thing, so to say.
He's only 23. Obviously, I understand you're paying 80 million for someone.
Werner
You
was what,
expect
24?
decent results. Huh?
Yeah,
How old was Werner?
around
24, 25?
I think Werner might have been younger.
Werner,
I don't
man.
know.
A lot of the things we're
I like
giving him
more
credit
about
for,
Darwin.
Werner can do the same. Werner can stretch a team. Werner had a very
but
good
Darwin's
movement.
a lot more stronger.
He's a lot stronger.
Has a lot more physicality
he's a lot
on him.
stronger. He's a lot stronger, but I think there's definitely a worry with Darwin Núñez. Like to play down the concerns is disingenuous.
Well, yeah, definitely.
No, I'm not. Look. Miss it. At the end of the day, as a striker, your bread and butter is to score goals.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that. But I'm willing to give him a chance because what I've seen is that he can get into the right positions and he's capable of stretching teams and being a physical outlet, which is good to have. Like he has stuff outside of just goal scoring that is there to see. So looking at stats away, looking at him as a player,
is it enough outside goal scoring? So even if he doesn't improve his goal scoring, is
that
fine?
It won't be enough. Though.
No. Look, he's a crap footballer. He's a crap footballer. I won't lie. He's crap, but he can run and he can run quite fast and he's strong.
So he has to improve his goal scoring. That's the thing.
Go to athletics then, like, come on now.
He has to improve his goal scoring.
He has to.
That's what they're giving him this time for. Like, I mean,
that's for me. Yeah, I'm cool with that. That's cool because for me, if he stays the exact same player, for me, he's not good. He's not a good football player, man. If he improves his goal scoring,
he needs to improve his goal scoring. He needs to improve his goal scoring. Yeah,
even just a little bit, even if it's like, because right now I think it'll be like for every 3 chances. I think he's missed like 15 big chances and scored 5 goals. So that's like 3 big chances for every goal. Even if he ups that to like 2 big chances for every goal, he'll be a lot more effective.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The thing
I'm
is,
just
yeah,
willing
like
to give him the opportunity to
yeah,
at least
obviously,
have the
yeah.
chance to, so we see over a 2-year period. Okay, we're giving you 2 years and you haven't done nothing. Time to move on. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Because I will
they're
factor
not
in the fact that
giving.
he's moving to a new country, learning a new
But
language,
Josh,
everything.
Josh,
That's things that factor.
Josh, I don't think they're gonna give him that time. We've already seen they've
No.
gone with Gakpo, and we have to take into account as well they're getting new owners too. So Liverpool are going to be able to spend, and they're not gonna. The new owners are not going to be wanting to waste their time with Darwin Núñez if he's not hitting the ground running.
And
Like
also, out of all the strikers that have come in the league and have been poor finishers, which strikers have actually improved? And you can say he used to be a bad finisher and now he's not. Because
it's
there's
possible.
loads.
It is possible.
Because
But
we've said that for so many strikers. We said that for Havertz. We said that for I can't even Werner. We said that for so many strikers, but it seems to never happen. And they might go on to be good players elsewhere. Like Morata's a good example of that. But the difference is Morata has loads more to his game, so that's why he's effective. Like Darwin, I don't know if he will improve that finishing. I don't think there's any guarantee that he can or will. And I don't know how long they can put up with that, to be honest.
it's weird with Núñez because when he gets into the final third, there's no fear. Like if like he's playing against my team, or even I'm just watching him and I see him in the final third, I see him 1-on-1 versus the keeper. I know he's gonna miss. That's bad. Like it's a, like Ori said, it is a mental thing because of even with certain players, even if they're not the best of finishers, you're like, okay, 1v1, they have like a high percentage chance of scoring. With Núñez, when he gets into 1v1 situations, I'm not confident that he's gonna bag, and I don't think he's confident that he's gonna bag. So that's the issue. I feel like I don't know what needs to happen for him, but obviously we need to give him time. It's not easy coming to a new country and adapting. But if he was bagging the goals, there'll be no concern. Because the thing is, the one thing that he needs to do, he's not doing. Because you can even compare him to Haaland. Like with Haaland, he just bags goals. But if he wasn't bagging, we'll be having the same conversation about Haaland. Because he's not the best. If we're being real, watching him, he's not the best footballer all round. But he bags goals.
You guys said he passed the eye test.
That doesn't mean that you're not. That doesn't mean that
you
you're.
said he passed the eye test. Now you saying he's not the best footballer.
Wait, when did I say he passed the eye test?
Hey, Ori, you were there, wasn't you? Ori, you were there. You were there.
Okay,
I vaguely remember.
No, I agree. I think Haaland does pass the eye test, but
Josh, this is my eye test for a striker.
I think he does.
My eye test for a striker is be able to link up play on bad goals. That's my eye test for a striker. That's what I look for in a striker. That's my eye test. That's what I like to see. Even making runs in like Núñez, he does certain things right, but he doesn't bag enough. He don't bag enough. Like
his timing is not great either. He's offside quite a lot.
Yeah, he is too.
But yeah, you've got to score goals unless like your primary role is, and even then you still have to like make up a bit. But like he's not a false nine. He's not, he's definitely there to try and get the goals. It's clear to see. Yeah, I think it'll kind of be more worrying if he wasn't getting any chances or anything like that. But I think now like the problem is clear, so they just have to kind of work on it. If they can't, then that's it. You'll have to move on. No friends in football. Either you hit the ground running or you get going. But yeah, it's interesting to see whether he would actually improve on it or not. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think we'll spend enough time on Liverpool. Next, I want to go to Spurs. We don't give Spurs a lot of love on the show because they're whack. That's why they are dookie. They are absolutely awful. I even saw Conte's interview. Like, he does this weird psychological nonsense. I'm seeing through the BS now. I can't lie. He's not what he used to be. Because of your team is not playing good football and you're not getting results, and you're still blaming you're blaming Levy, you're beefing. Like, come on now. He's backed him in the window. He was backed in the window. There's no denying that he was backed. And your team's not playing good football and you're not getting results. And even when you are getting results, it's scrappy wins. It's being 2 or 3-0 down and then coming back. It's like it's just a mess at Spurs. And obviously in his press conference, he said, "Oh, maybe the best we can do is a 4th or a 5th. That's the reality I'm going to be on."
Is that not to put pressure though? I think that's putting pressure on the owners.
I'm seeing through the BS now. Conte, like, you play terrorist football. It's not good football that you're playing. So all this talk about putting pressure on the ownership, like, he needs to focus on his job and get his team. If you're not playing good football, at least get results. And they're not getting the results. So I'm not convinced by Conte. I think he's gone at the end of the season. Whether it's his decision or it's their decision.
I'll be honest, I disagree. I think a lot of... Do you know what it is, yeah? The reason why I get onto Spurs is because Spurs, and the reason why I call them a small club, is because so much of their club is based on Arsenal. If Arsenal and Chelsea swapped places in the table right now, there would be nowhere near the amount of discontent in the Spurs fan base that there is. When Arsenal were 8th and Spurs weren't doing great, there was nowhere near this level of discontent, even though they were playing bad football. Like Spurs... Because even if we put into context, like, for me, Man United have been good this season, and Man United have a game in hand on Spurs. But, like, if we're being honest, Man United are 2 points in front of Spurs. They're not miles and miles away. Spurs are battling for top 4.
Spurs have played more games, though, I think.
They played one more game.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, battling for top 4 is where Spurs are. Like, Conte came in more or less a year ago. If we look at where Arteta was after 1 year, like, he wasn't playing great football either. So I think you need to, especially with the players he's got, some of them players are bums, absolute bums. Like, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of accountability he needs to take. He's not playing Jed Spence and he's playing some crap right wing backs over him. He in the summer he signed Richarlison for £50 million rather than spend on some of the other areas. And yeah, I think the football is obviously disgusting, but I don't think it's all Conte's fault, and I think Spurs boards have to act. They have to back this guy because realistically, you're not going to get a better manager than Conte. You might get Tuchel in, but for me, I see them as the same level. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it's his fault. I think there's a lot more deep-rooted issues with Spurs, and I don't think they're as bad in terms of the league table as people think they are. It's just because Arsenal are top of the league and they're playing shit football that the whole place is in disarray.
I'm not convinced. David's commented, he said Conte needs to be held to the same standard as Mourinho. Mourinho played better football.
With Spurs?
With Spurs.
About the same.
Yeah.
Both played bad football.
I don't see a huge difference between the two, if I'm being
Mourinho
honest.
had a lot more short-term success.
When are we going to talk about...
Mourinho was working with less.
When are we going to talk about Heung-min Son?
Yeah,
we need to talk about that product.
Because the thing is
Sam calling him world class last season.
The thing is that Son is...
I mean, he was playing at a world class level.
He was playing at a world class level.
See, that's the world class debate.
The thing is that Son is an insane finisher, but like, what happens when there is really no chances for in a team, and I think that's what is happening to Son right now. But in terms of Spurs themselves, I don't know. I think Dan is kind of right as well. Like, okay, they had Kane and Son last season were playing really well. This season they still have Kane and Son, and like, how do they improve? You improve by getting quality players who can improve the team. And who did they go and buy? They went to get Perisic, Spence, Emerson, and Richarlison.
They made some decent signings too, though.
But they brought in 2 of his signings. They brought in Kulusevski and Bentancur, and them 2 are arguably 2 of the top 3 players in the team.
Yeah, but it's
when Kulusevski don't play, they are notably worse.
Yeah,
even when he does play, though, they don't create that much anyway.
They create a lot more. They're a lot more dangerous with him.
Yeah, but it's just negative football. They play reactive football. It's not proactive football, in my opinion. It's just
it is, but I
just hate the way they play. Even the game that they played against us, I haven't seen Man United play a better game.
That was an awful game.
And I don't know whether it's because United was so good or because the Spurs were so bad, or maybe it was a bit of both. But generally, that Spurs performance was one of the worst performances I've seen from opposition against United in my life. It was so bad. Like
Wait,
the way
I've completely forgotten this game. What was the result of that game again?
we
United won
won.
3-0.
Yeah, we won 3-0.
I think it was
Like,
0-0 at half
comfortably,
time, but United were the better
dominated
team.
them. Like
And then the second half,
dominated them.
Spurs were shit.
First half they were terrible as well. We just didn't bag. Like we completely played them off the park. Like it was the best United performance I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't know whether it was because we were good or because Spurs were so
It was
bad.
a bit of both. I think it was a bit of both.
Yeah, but it's just when I watched Tottenham, even I watched them against who did they play? Was it Villa?
Yeah.
They're awful.
Yeah.
Like they're so bad. I don't know. And I don't want to get. I want to segue into another thing, but let's continue on Spurs. I want to talk about Chelsea in a bit, but it's just those two teams. When I watch them play, I just don't understand what's going on.
Players have to take accountability as well. Like, there's nothing Conte can do
100%.
about Hugo Lloris spilling the ball.
Yeah, but true.
But they do need to play. They do need to play better football. And
they need better players, in my opinion. Their players just aren't good.
They do.
I think you can say they need better players.
I think that's the biggest thing. The quality of the players.
Yeah, the players aren't that good,
bro.
They're not good,
bro. You're saying, like we're saying, unanimously, Kane is world class. Mm-hmm. You have question marks over Son. Højbjerg's a good player, but you wouldn't say.
Bro, at the beginning, can I just say, at the beginning of the season, Spurs fans were saying that they have the best front three in the league. Were they saying that or no?
They were saying that.
That was just because they were just being Spurs fans. But I don't know. Like, anyone could objectively see that like they didn't have a chance of winning the league. Like, they don't have enough quality.
Son, no, they weren't going to win the league, but Son is massively underperforming. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Kulusevski, I think Kane's still like the second top scorer in the league.
Yeah,
and Kulusevski's been injured, but Kulusevski's still been a top player. I think if you put pieces around him, like Perisic, for example, if you watch Perisic is comfortably one of the best players in their team as well. Like he's a very good player. But if we look at they've got the same goalkeeper that they had under Mourinho and even Poch. They've got Dyer, they've got Davinson Sanchez still playing. Ben Davis is playing centre back. Ben Davis, come on.
It's a mess.
It's not a good team. They got Emerson Royale's the worst right back in the league. And if you don't want to play him, then it's to be fair, he should be playing Jet Spence, but it's
he doesn't. Jet Spence wasn't his signing though. That's why he doesn't play. He even said it when they signed him. He said he didn't want him, which is silly to me because of what Doherty and Emerson Royale. Like, come on now, Jet Spence. Give him a run in the team at least. Like, that's why I have to put. That's why you have to put some blame on Conte too.
100%.
Like, come on, like you seeing the way your team is playing. Like, you have a squad. At least try something different. But I don't know, he's so stuck in his ways. Like, I feel like we need to hold Conte to a higher standard because of the excuse before was, okay, you play trash football, but you get results, you win trophies. If you're not doing either of those things, we have to start looking at Conte.
But if you give him the players, he will improve though. That's the thing. Like the football might be bad, but it's because he has bad players that there's no results. If he had good players, then the football might still be trash, but they'd be a lot better than what they are. And even now, they're not horrendous. They're still comfortably in that top 4 race.
Yeah, they're not. Is it me? Maybe it's just me who just thinks their squad isn't as bad as everyone thinks it is.
No, it's crap. It's crap.
I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is.
How many of Spurs players would you take?
Maybe, okay. Probably just Kane.
And you're competing with them for top 4.
Okay, Kane.
And you're competing with them for top 4. Maybe Kulusevski.
I'll take Kane and Kulusevski. 2
players. I guarantee they take more than half the United squad. They'll take more than half your squad. They'll take all of your defense. They'll take all your defense, all of your midfielders. They take Rashford. I think they probably take.
I was gonna say their midfield is good, but in comparison to the rest of the competition, it's not actually that good.
Oh, I think that's just the biggest thing, the quality of the players.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, in comparison to everyone else, their squad isn't as.
They had no attackers on the bench.
None.
Yeah, I don't think their squad is good. And then what the problem with Spurs usually is that like they will get like a coach and they want like a short term quick victory kind of thing. And in order to do that, you need to invest a lot. Like, you can't expect to win stuff with Conte if you don't give him like, the players that he wants, or that's required to, which is why he's saying that it's going to take time. And I don't think Conte is patient. I think he's probably going to go by the end of the season himself. I don't even really think he likes being there. But yeah, I think Spurs, I don't really think there's a lot of ambition from the board. And like, I think they're just comfortable being. I think the only thing that may actually make some changes is if Arsenal does actually happen to win the league, like Dan said. Like, if Arsenal does win the league, then I think that's when Spurs actually wake up and actually start to like make changes in like their scouting, hiring process, everything. I think they have a proper like rebuild, so to say, if Arsenal actually does win the league. But as like I always say, I think they're just comfortable being there. Like, it's kind of like we're just happy to be involved kind of thing. Like, they're okay just being in that top four, playing, fighting around that top four thingy. I don't really think they have that desire.
Now, I think the reason they don't want to be fighting, like even if they get top four this season, they won't be happy because Arsenal will finish above them. And it was even the same under Pochettino. Like their quote unquote golden period with Pochettino, realistically, they only challenged for the league once. And that was when Leicester won the league. And even then, they weren't.
They finished third even. They didn't even finish second.
They never challenged for the league. They got to a Champions League final, which is fair enough. But they never challenged for the league. And there was still no pressure on the board or Pochettino to make that push up to win the league. Like they got to the Champions League final and didn't buy a single player. Because they were content because they finished above Arsenal. Bro, if we
I think they challenged Chelsea.
There would be no
I think they got 86 points one season.
Oh yeah, it's a good point, Sally, but at the end of the day, like,
but they weren't competing for the league.
They were just close.
Yeah, Chelsea was still ahead. Chelsea was still ahead, but 86 points is still quite mad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's impressive. But they weren't winning the league. They weren't even. I don't think people even considered them contenders.
But yeah, I think Spurs. I don't know what's going on. You never know. The seasons. There's still a lot of football to be played, so maybe they can turn it around. But I want to talk about Chelsea. What are we saying, Josh? Obviously you're no longer a Chelsea fan. You are now a mutual and complete objective in the footballing world.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah. What do you think of your former side?
Yeah, another team. Quality is not that good, isn't it? I think Dan was mentioning it about the profiles as well. No, I was looking at the back four in 2023. Aspie, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, and Cucurella. Like, you have to have some sort of physicality in your back line. Like, come on. And then you got Jorginho as well. He's not very physically mobile as well. I like Mason Mount. I think he's a good player, but again, he's not really giving you the goods. Zakaria, I don't know for that brother. I haven't really seen too much of him. And then Pulisic, he don't really look the same player, man. He don't seem to have the same burst that he used to. Can't really get past players like that. Yeah, bro, they're just. There's no players that you look at and say, yo, these are quality players, How many quality players do you think Chelsea have right now? That's a question for everyone.
What, playing at a quality
Sterling
level? He's not even playing well.
Yeah, that's why play. What do you mean?
If you're making a good team, like a starting 11 that you want long term, you're gonna have Sterling in there.
Long term, because I would say Thiago Silva's a good player. Like, he's playing well, but he's not long.
He hasn't been playing that well. Just being.
I think he has been. He's been the best.
He's been the standout defender. But even Sterling, he's not. If we're being maybe because of his past achievements, we're allowing him, we're giving him a blight. But if I'm actually being completely honest, Sterling hasn't been good.
No, he's been poor. But Sterling, all Chelsea's attackers, Sterling, Aubameyang, and Havertz, they've all
been trash.
But they're all players that rely on someone else to create chances. They're basically I don't want to say they're not tapping merchants, but they all score goals in and around the 6-yard box. Chelsea have no one creating chances. Because if Mason Mount is your best chance creator, you're not creating anything. And I like Mason Mount as a player, but he's not a creative player. And I don't think there's anyone in Chelsea that is a creative player except maybe Ziyech, and he's been woeful.
Yeah. When I look at Chelsea and when I watch them play, I just don't understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Obviously, they're in a rebuild situation. But I don't see an identity in the team. And maybe it'll take Potter some time to implement his identity. But I don't even see what he's trying to do. That's the thing. Like, I don't understand what's going on there. when I watch them play, it just seems like they coast through games and hope for the best.
Mm.
That's what it looks like to me. I don't see them.
But most
I
managers,
don't.
when you come in, especially mid-season, yeah, most managers are just kind of in survival mode until that first, and like adapting to the team until that first summer window when they can really imprint their identity. And like, I don't want to make excuses for Graham Potter because the football has been woeful, but I assume that's what he's doing because, like you even said earlier, they have so many different profiles that don't fit together. They have so many, like, quote unquote, not system players, but players that need a system to be kind of built around them. But there's no, like, they're not good enough for that to take place.
I think it's too early it's too early to even judge him like that harshly. Like there is generally no one in the team that is his signing. He just came there after literally
You can
after.
say Cucurella, even though it's not his signing, it's his like Cucurella's his guy, and he's not even trusting him that at the moment. It's only because Chilwell's injured. That's why Cucurella's playing.
Mm.
But
Yeah, still not a player he bought into um the current team that he's in. So I don't know. It's just a bit too premature to judge him that quickly. Probably give him a couple transfer windows, see how he's shaking things up. But yeah, I don't think Chelsea are that like in terms of their squad. I think they can be so much better. I don't think they have a lot. Um, I don't think they have enough good players in that squad. But yeah, we'll see.
do they have a better squad than
And
Tottenham?
Spurs,
They do, and they're doing worse.
They have a better.
they're better individuals, but the individuals
Yeah,
that
no, they
fits in
definitely
with
have a
the
better
players.
squad than Spurs. Actually, yeah.
They're better individuals, but there's
Exactly.
no
And they're doing
system there.
worse. Exactly. That's the thing. And even the recruitment
Like I said
process
again, perspective
is
is
a
a very,
mess.
very funny thing because if I check right now, um, Chelsea are literally they're 5 points behind Spurs. They played a game less, so
Mm.
you know,
Anything can happen in the Premier League. But
yeah.
from what I see on the pitch, they look similar to me.
Mm.
But Chelsea just kind of coast through games and just the recruitment process and like I don't know what Bowley's doing. Even we're seeing in January like chucking 120 million at Benfica for Enzo Fernandez. It's like it seems I don't get it. Like I don't
It's
understand
like
it.
plastering over the cracks.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Even them signing Badiashile from Monaco. It's like how you have so many centre backs in your squad and
Is the
you want
Fernandez
to
thing
sign
going to
another
go? Is
centre
the
back.
Fernandez thing going to go through?
I
I
assume it
think they're
probably
gonna
will,
get
but
him.
I don't
I
think it
think they're
changes
getting him.
anything. He might be a good player, but it's not going to change their season.
Yeah,
To be
exactly.
honest, for the midfield, it is important. They need a midfielder. They don't
I
have a
don't think I
midfielder.
don't know if his profile is what they need though. Because for me,
Yeah,
I think they need someone who's going to actually sit in front of the back four and screen, or the back three or whatever, and screen them. Because if you look at all the clubs that are playing well this season, like obviously Arsenal, City, United, and even like Newcastle, all of them have a defensive midfielder that's playing well, and I think that's such an important thing for a team that like even someone like Joe Linton for Newcastle. When Joe Linton moved into that role, they improved a lot as a team. I don't think Chelsea have anyone. Their midfield is the least balanced part of that team. They don't have, for me, they don't have anyone that fits together.
yeah. Even it's just the whole process in itself. They might need a striker too, but the way it's like there's a
It's
lot
not
to
as
do,
drastic as
but
you're
They've
making it
just
seem,
been
though.
way too unlucky in the striker market. I've actually never seen a club this unlucky. Like
yeah,
when who was
But it's
Chelsea's
not
last
that
striker?
drastic though, in terms of like to at least uplift them. If
or
they
to
get
fix
another
them.
1v1 winger and then a DM, I think that's all right.
Where do you
I
get
think
them
that
players
that
though?
can
Yeah.
you can find
You
a
think
1v1
maybe
winger.
a
You can
Declan
get
Rice?
Liao.
They'll probably look at
Mm.
Rice because of West
Mm.
Ham are battling relegation at the moment. If they get relegated, hopefully they don't. But if they do get relegated, Declan Rice is definitely leaving, and
Even if
is
they
leaving
don't,
on
he's
the
not.
cheap.
Liao and Rice is a good two
Is
Yeah,
Liao
signings.
going to
that's
come to
too
Chelsea?
good.
Oh, I want Rice so bad.
Would Liao come to Chelsea mid-season though?
Not mid-season.
Nah,
No,
I
they're
don't
gonna
think
have to wait.
mid-season.
They're gonna have to
I
wait
don't
till the
think either
summer.
of them will come
Oh,
mid-season.
Liao would be a really good signing for Chelsea actually.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they need that type of signing.
Yeah, they need
Just someone
they
that
need to
has
get rid of
drive.
the Deadwood more. To be honest, the
Yeah,
Deadwood's a bigger problem for
they
me.
need a whole reset.
Yeah.
A whole reset in that club.
Maybe get Cho back as well to help as well.
He's no.
Well, you can still do something, man.
No.
There's still good
Mm.
player there.
I'm not
Get
convinced.
Trey back maybe
But
for Palace, innit? But not for Chelsea.
I'll take him
I
at
do
Palace,
feel bad for violating him.
He wouldn't even start for Palace,
take
bro. He's not better than Eze. He's not better than Lise.
Oh,
That's true.
he's better than Elise.
Oh, what?
I like Elise a
He's
lot.
not. He's
I
not,
like
he's
Elise.
He's not better than Elise,
He's not
bro.
better than Elise.
Elise is nice.
Yeah.
He's nice,
I'll
innit?
take
Elise is
tomorrow.
nice, innit? But I feel like some people have the wrong impression of Elise, man. Elise is not like
He's Kulusevski
He's not-
light.
I don't know
he's
about
more of a
that.
midfielder to me. He's more of a midfielder
Nah,
to me.
I
But I
don't-
like him a lot though. He's a quality.
He's
He's a
tight
creative
as well.
winger.
I like him. Yeah. He passes the eye test, the Josh says.
Yeah, he
But
definitely passed the eye test.
Yeah.
Whereas
Oh,
that Cho
Elise.
guy- Yeah.
Elise. Oh,
Yeah, whereas
Elise is
Cho-
techie, bro. I like
Yeah,
him.
he's a good footballer.
Passes your eye test. Yeah.
Reminds me of Mahrez sometimes, actually.
Nah, you don't really play like Mahrez too much, man. You don't chop
Not
man like
really,
that.
but like how he is on that right, like how he receives the ball and how he like moves.
Oh yeah,
with
he's got a lovely left peg. He does have a left.
Yeah,
If you're talking about in terms of like curling and crossing, he's good in it. But he don't really beat players 1v1 like that. He's not.
Okay, so we've been going for an hour and 20. Are there any other topics that anyone wants to cover? I'm not really too fussed about talking about United. I think I just
guys are steady now.
yeah.
You guys are looking
Yeah.
good.
Anything in Jan? Maybe Felix.
I don't, with the Felix, I've seen us linked to him. First of all, I don't think we're going to sign anyone in January. I don't think that's happening. I think because of the Glazers want to sell, they're not going to invest in a club. Like, they just want to sell. They don't care. Felix he's not an out and out number 9. And
Nah, you guys don't need Felix. You guys need an actual striker.
Exactly.
You need Vlahovic or Osimhen.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
Or cheeky Harry Kane.
We're not going to get any of those type of players in January, though. That's the thing.
No, not in January. Not in January.
Yeah.
I feel like what you guys should be looking at maybe is just a loan. Just get a loan for a striker.
Yeah.
A short-term fix.
Very short-term, short-term. Like signing a striker now is not like you guys need to wait till that summer and go all out for a striker. It's about time.
The only striker I'll take right now is Makoko from Dortmund. I'll take him because his contract expires in the
young, but
in the summer.
Nah,
even that he's still long term.
So he'll be cheap.
Yeah,
but he'll be cheap though. That's the thing. He'll be like what 15
and he's still
million
long term as well. Like he's
it's
still
high
very
time.
young.
It's high time you guys been that Martial guy. It's way too long.
Low key, Zaha might not be a bad option for some clubs. He's got like a year and a half left. He could be a little injection for whatever people are trying to do.
Oh, Benzema is out of contract as well.
But you think he's leaving Real?
Get the band back together. Varane, Casemiro.
Yeah. I don't know.
Benzema will leave Madrid easily. Like he's done everything he needs to do there. Like
I don't see him coming to United though.
And he's like
Benzema retired quite early. You know?
Sorry,
I see him retiring quite early.
Yeah, but he wants to retire with like a bag probably, and Madrid are not off. I don't think Madrid are offering him what he wants right now, and like he wants like a 2-year contract at like a particular amount, and I think United will do that easily.
Chelsea might sneak in there too.
Yeah, I heard some Arsenal links. I think they're fake, but you never.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
It's interesting though, the striker market, but I think Benzema will be a good signing for you guys. But if I do think like going younger is always the best, like in terms of signing football players. That is like
do something.
Yeah.
Quickly, I just want to give someone his flowers.
Go on then.
Ori always crucifies me on Twitter whenever I tweet about this guy, Marcus Rashford. Oh, the form that he's in, sensational. Obviously, Ori reminds me every time about.
I'm done with that. The thing is that like I just think like people are way too harsh on players, like especially when they. But the thing is that I understand being a fan of the club and like because like when our players hit rough patches too, I'm incredibly tough on them and stuff like that. So I get that, but yeah, I've always said Rashford, he has all the things that I would like from like a Wenger, so to say. Like he has the pace, he can dribble, he can create chances as well too, can score goals, just sometimes he just has gets off form, gets up. He's also like one of those players who's really like, well, which is basically every footballer, but like someone who's really influenced by like your mental states and like emotions and everything. But that's basically every footballer. But yeah, and I really wish we just like made a crazy bid for him last summer or something that like would have just been incredible. But I think he loves United way too much, and Also, huge credit to Ten Hag as well. I was about to say, like, how he handled the Ronaldo situation was just
Amazing.
top class, like top class for such a like ego and for such a player and for such a like how he handled the whole situation was really good. And he's bringing a lot of discipline to the club and everything. And like he looks like that guy that United have kind of been looking for a bit. Yeah. I still think they would have some rough patches, which should be expected. But like in terms of the future, like I think this guy's the real deal. Yeah.
His tactical adaptations have impressed me a lot, man. Because even from the first two games, obviously weren't great, but even from the way that Man United, because them two games, Man United were trying to press high and win the ball back. But now, if you look at it, like he's adapted the way, so Man United's back four sits quite deep, which means that they don't need to do too much in terms of like playing on the halfway line. But at the same time, Man United are still compact and still are good with the ball and playing out from the back. So I'm really impressed. I'm actually excited to see what they do moving forward. Not gonna lie.
I think Arsenal United title race soon, like the good old days.
Hey, man.
Good old days. Yeah,
Hey,
man, the
man.
good old days. One thing I want to say as well is like he knows exactly what he wants in his profile of players. Like even we've seen him play Luke Shaw at centre back because he knows that he wants. And when they asked him about it, he was like, because I like having a left-footed left centre back.
Yeah.
And I like the angles, the passing angles, obviously in build-up play and the pace that Luke Shaw has as well. He fits more of a profile of a Martinez than a Maguire. So he didn't even care about, obviously, most people would think, I'm going to slot in Maguire or Lindelof in that position. But he knows what he wants from his left centre-back. And he thought that Shaw fits the profile more. Obviously, Martinez, he's back now, but I love, like, he knows exactly what he wants and he knows the exact type of play style he wants.
Yeah.
And like that's what we haven't had that at United in a while. Like Ole was just vibes. Ragnick, Lord knows what's going on there. But you can see what he's doing. And that's one thing, like with Arsenal fans in the beginning, you saw it with Arteta as well, you can see what they're doing. This is the first time I've seen a manager come into United. I can see what he wants. So yeah, big respect to Ten Hag. Obviously we have a long way to go. But yeah, respect to him. Josh, you were gonna say something, sorry. I'll let you.
It was about the world class thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we name for under 25s how many world class central midfielders are there?
It's difficult for midfielders because for me, I think midfielders blossom a lot later.
Yeah.
Like I think midfield and defenders is not about raw talent. I think a lot of experience is involved as well.
Would you say Bellingham is world class or needs to come for improvement?
Even then, I wouldn't say yet.
But under 25
projection though.
Under 25 is just way too young. Like I can't really.
Yeah, for
25.
Me, difficult.
25 young.
I think with attackers you could say it, but not midfielders or defenders. Like for me, Vinicius is world class.
Does Valverde count? I think he is exactly 25.
Yeah, he plays right wing sometimes.
And he plays right, yeah.
I don't know if there's any.
Let's bump up. Hey, can we bump it up? I'll bump it up to 27 then.
Okay, 27.
Most of the best CMs in the world are in their 30s. I can't lie.
That's actually true.
Or like pushing late 20. Like, if you actually think about it.
Midfielders under 27.
How?
World class.
World class.
I'd say Rodri's world class.
Yeah, how old is Rodri?
He's 26.
Okay, Rodri.
Is Rodri better than Fernandinho?
In his prime?
No, he's not.
Yeah, Fernandinho's prime.
No.
He's not better than Brentford. He's not.
He's a better passer, but he's not a better. Like, he's not better defensively.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, he's better on the ball.
He helps them in possession more than Fernandinho did, but I don't know if he's better.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. That's crazy.
It's not.
That's crazy.
I don't think there's any, if I'm being honest.
I think there's players that have.
Some people would say like Pedri and all that. I don't think Pedri's world class.
Yeah. No. I don't think
Pedri will give you world class.
I'm not calling those guys world class. No, I'm not calling.
Yeah,
let's move it to centre backs under 27s.
Centre backs is tough as well, to be honest.
See, that's why I say them two.
I like that. He's not world class, but I like Vardio. Vardio had a good workout. I do like him, but he's not world class.
I don't know. In football these days, under 27 just seems, I don't know.
It's him like it's so tough to label centre backs world class, to be honest.
I remember when we did the list of like world-class players, most of them were in their 30s. And it's crazy if we do it now and we say under 30s, bro, we will struggle to name players. Like even you're saying attackers, so obviously Mbappe is a league of his own. Bro, how many world-class attackers under 27 are there?
I'll say
There's
Mbappe,
more with attackers.
Vinicius.
There's a lot more attackers than anywhere else.
Yeah.
But
I
think that begs the question that like being the whole attacker debate, the whole attacker bias over like other positions. I think it's easier to like solidify yourself as a attacker just by having like a very like Vinicius. As much as I love him, like he was really like he wasn't that good at some point when he was in Madrid.
Yeah.
You don't think he's world class now?
He's turned it around.
No, he's world class now. That's what I'm saying. Like he's had, and it was basically that last season that he became world class. Like he took it to the next level. And you know, like even if a young defender has a really good season, I don't know, before people like after this season, even if we win the title, I don't really think people are going to call Saliba world class.
No,
exactly, yeah. So you know, I think it's kind of tougher for young players like midfielders and
I like Tchouaméni.
I think it's Tchouaméni, but again, I don't think he's world class. Yeah, like it's just
I agree. He hasn't played enough games either.
Yeah,
he
looks premature. Yeah, like I can't really think of any like any midfielder I think of. It just seems premature. Like it seems like they're almost there, or like they're just not quite.
But no, with the attackers, we haven't named them though. Mbappe, you're saying Vinicius,
Vinicius, Haaland, 100%.
Was it under 25?
Yeah,
I said 27, just to bump it up a bit.
Okay, let me go in the Premier League. I would say Rashford's world class.
Rashford,
I'm not saying Rashford's world class.
I'm saying Rashford, Vinicius, Haaland, and Mbappe.
Yeah, the way Rashford performed at the World Cup, I think. Maybe Saka as well, but they're like I feel like Rashford and Saka are kind of in the
like I always say, perception in football is a very crazy thing. If Rashford is in exactly Vinicius' position right now, like the way everybody looks at him is so much differently. Like Rashford has, you know, done all of those, like you know, he's made good Champions League performances, stuff like that. Like if he's in a different club, people look at him much differently.
Is Leao world class in your opinion?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he brought them to a title. He brought AC Milan to a title.
Oh yeah, you have to factor that in. But
but they were very good all round. I don't know. That's why I say the World Cup.
If he had a good World Cup, it might have pushed him into that. But I don't know if Fernando Santos wasn't really. I mean, he didn't even play that much. But even when he did play, he did score.
I feel like there's definitely some midfielders I'm forgetting.
Not that many.
I mean, Barella's a good midfielder, but I wouldn't say he's world class.
Yeah, but you know what? I would.
How does Kimmich?
I would say.
How does Kimmich?
You know, I think with them type of players, is too much based on potential.
Ooh, De Jong is world class.
Frankie De Jong.
Yeah, I think
he is world class.
No, the quality. Frankie De Jong's quality is world class, but he hasn't done it.
He's not
that's true.
World class level.
That's true.
Real. He's not world class.
I think he's world class. I can't lie to you.
But is that why? But don't you think that's why it's hard to say anyone under 25 is world class, because they've not had the amount of years to prove their quality, and especially a lot of the players that we look at them based on potential. So like Foden, for example, we look at Foden a lot based on his potential and what he can become. If he retired right now, or if he never improved, he stayed the same player, I don't think we would rate him as highly as we do. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I don't think Foden's world class at all.
No. That's my point. That's my point. But like,
I'm not looking irrespective of the quality.
There's a certain guy I think that if he's in another club too, people look at him a lot more, and that's Rice.
Yeah, I can see that.
If Rice is in City right now, we all know everybody will call him world class.
Okay, it's true. There's not that many CDMs in the world you can name that are better than him.
Better than Rice, yeah. I think Rice.
I think Tchouaméni is better than Rice, but I think that's it for the CDMs below.
I actually don't think so.
I think he is, man. I think Rice's passing isn't as good as Tchouaméni, and Rice does. He has this annoying habit of when he's passing someone, he runs towards them at the same time and closes the space. And especially when you're playing in a possession team, I don't know how he'll adapt.
No, but
Yeah,
with the
that's very
25,
true.
I think you can be world class by 25. I don't think that's
Yeah, you can, but
It's
it's
not,
like
if
it's
we
not
said
as
under
common.
23, under 23 is a bit more
It's tough.
a bit more harsh. But 25, no, I think you should be establishing yourself. Obviously,
25 is
everybody's
just
got
supposed to
different
be.
peaks, but
Yeah, you're supposed to be hitting your prime like what 25 to like what 30 is when you're in your
Yeah,
prime.
yeah.
But now the primes are getting later and later, I think.
I think it depends each player to each player.
Yeah, it's
Because like
different. It
I
depends on
call
the
it the
position as well.
Fabregas Modric spectrum. Because like Modric
Mm.
at 25, no one would have considered him one of the greatest players of all time. But at 37, he's considered arguably top two. Some people even say the greatest midfielder of all time. Whereas like Fabregas at 16 broke into the invincible team. At 23, he was one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, arguably the best. But at 31, he was playing for Como. Like they play in the same position. They played the years that they played overlapped quite a lot, but
Yeah.
one's finished at 31 and one's career is in his prime from 31 to 36.
you mentioned
Yeah, it's
about
an
being the
interesting
greatest
point.
midfielder, and
Mm.
I was hearing someone talk about Zidane, innit? Because obviously we always say Zidane's the top, but a lot of people when I listen to like the older people, they say he was bare inconsistent. Like
Oh,
Bro,
he was
that's
never
what I
like
talk about. That's
you
what I
know,
was
when
talking
we're
about
talking
with
about the
Gascoigne as well,
inconsistent thingy, that's why I wanted to bring up Zidane. I was about to say that, as much
bro.
as I rate Zidane and regard him highly, but a lot of people do say he was incredibly inconsistent. Like he wasn't as like if Zidane was in this, era, people may look at him a bit differently.
They're looking at like Pogba.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a moment's baller. It was a moment's baller.
it depends though. I think it really
Like
depends
he
on
had
how you finish with some
very
players.
amazing moments, and he was iconic. Like he was iconic. I didn't. I'll
Yeah.
be honest. I didn't watch him bare, so I
Is
can't really
Barella
explain.
world class?
Who?
Barella.
He's a top midfielder.
Oh, we
I
said
do like
Barella. I
Barella.
think I think it's
I
well.
don't know, to be honest. I haven't watched enough from
I
him.
don't I don't I don't think that's a
I think
ludicrous
he's
shot if he
quality.
said he was.
I think
I,
he's quality.
I have seen him a lot. He
Is
is good.
Goretzka world class?
Nah.
Nah, I died on
Maybe
that
a
train.
couple
He's
years
not.
ago you could say, yeah, nah, he's not. He's not. There's not that many world class players out there
Not really.
in that position anyway.
Mm.
For that criteria.
Midfield, yeah.
To be honest, they're not even finished their primes yet. I'm being a bit harsh in it saying under 27. It's not like they're 33, so they can
Yeah.
still establish themselves over the next couple of years. So it's not that
But I
deep.
think you'd expect most world class players to be between 27 and 31 because that's where most people hit their peak. So obviously that's going to be the most kind of thing of world class players.
You can then consider Bernardo Silva.
I think he's just below.
Do
for
people
me.
think
Yeah, I think
people think the number of quality footballers are dropping?
Yeah.
I think
But-
scrutiny is
I
just
think
getting
it's
higher.
But do you also think that's because the level of the game is improving?
Yes, that's
So
what I was gonna say.
Much more people are more.
The
more
criteria
talent-
has shifted.
I think talent is
Yeah.
more evenly distributed now. Like a player can like two players can match abilities even if they don't have like the same way we see like Brentford beating like Liverpool. Like look at it on paper, look at the players that Brentford have, look at the players that Liverpool have. On paper, it shouldn't even be a contest and stuff like that. But I think now in football, like a lot more players and teams are showing that like abilities can be matched and stuff can be tested, which is why like I don't think like back then there was a larger gap between like the quality footballers and like just the average footballers. Like right now I feel like it's not as far as everybody thinks, really. Interesting.
I feel like with the younger generation, there are a couple players that are coming through that
They are
generally incredible players. Like
Yeah.
Pedri, when you watch
Pedri
Pedri,
and Gabi look really good. Pedri and Gabi look really good.
They get memed a lot
You know,
because of the
They're
Yeah.
good,
Xavi, Iniesta
but
comparisons, but they're
that's
actually
what like
quality.
they get crazy PR, but they are good.
no,
They are
Pedri
good.
Yeah, but
deserves
they're
it.
so
Pedri
young.
deserves it.
They're
They
so
get
young.
insane PR,
No,
insane
I think
PR.
they're quality players. They're just very young.
They are very, very good, but I think
Like think about their age and how they retain the ball like against
Yeah.
like some of these old heads. Like it's really incredible. I can't lie.
Even if we look at Xavi and Iniesta, like when they were like 19, 20, 21, they weren't looked at as like phenoms, especially like what's his name, Xavi. Like Xavi before Pep Guardiola came in wasn't seen to the same level. So I think we just give him time, man. Give both of them time.
No, it's like we mentioned Xavi and Iniesta, bro. Their peaks weren't even that long.
yeah,
But their
That's
peaks were
true.
so
Bro.
incredibly high that no
Yeah,
one could
peaks were
touch
very
them.
high, yeah.
Okay.
No, they
yeah,
were
true, that's
nuts.
true,
They were
true.
insane. They were insane.
Their
They
peaks
should-
were so.
Iniesta's peak was Iniesta's peak should have won a Ballon d'Or,
Yeah.
if not for
Yeah.
Iniesta's peak for me is the greatest midfielder of all time. For me,
Yeah, Piqué. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
Iniesta
yeah,
was wow. What a
we're
player,
going
man.
for we've been going for almost 2 hours now. 1 hour and 40. But yeah,
We should do a streets won't forget like team or something. Ballers,
Yeah.
man.
hey man,
I
We
will
should
come
do
bring
join
out
in
Ali
my
Al
team.
Habsi and go.
Michu from Swansea. Michu from Swansea is my ST.
Jeez,
I love it too, man.
Because
Quality.
bro, I was deep in back in the day.
Too good.
Happy
So
Cisse and
Haaland did
them above strike partnership, man.
Oh
That's
my gosh, the man for Newcastle. Oh
Yeah,
my
those guys were.
oh,
damn.
that was
Newcastle on the
funny, man.
Pardew was a real streets won't forget team. They
Ooh,
came back
Yeah.
diff.
They were.
They had Ben
They were
Arthur,
Johan
Kabay.
Cabaye, cold.
Yeah, they
Oh,
were.
Colaccini.
I loved him, you know. It was cold.
Colaccini, the David Luiz light.
Most of them bellies out there too, man.
Southampton
Totally
probably,
Nah,
must
put
have
some respect
been
on his name.
Southampton
He's better
probably
than
had
Streets
the
Won't
best streets won't forget team though. That Mane, when they had Mane, Pele, and like
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Southampton.
Graziano Pelle.
Graziano Pele.
Yeah, that was good.
We had
And they
some.
were a good side as well.
They were a
They
good
were a good
side.
side.
They were a good side.
Victor Wanyama as well, midfield.
Wanyama, Schneider,
Schneiderlin, yes.
Schneiderlin. He fooled the streets,
solid.
man. United want to go pay for me. Flop.
Said he fooled the street.
He was trash.
Lalana.
No, another player I loved. Lalana. I love
Oh,
Lalana.
Lalana is a good player.
Ricky
Lalana was
Lambert.
Lallana was
Ricky
he was
Lambert,
nice.
yeah.
Ricky
Dude, did you guys see
Lambert.
Ward-Prowse's free kick? Like, this guy is nuts. The one he scored against Fulham just a couple of days.
He's leaving Southampton at the end of the season because they're getting relegated.
Yeah, they're going down, but I don't know who picks them up. Maybe Liverpool. I see Liverpool maybe.
Probably like Everton or something. In fact, they're probably going. They might.
Everton's whole transfer recruitment strategy
Everton's
is
just
just
level.
streets won't forget ballers.
Yeah.
Everton just signed players from like 2014 and just hope it works.
Still crazy how they
Yeah.
got points against City though. Bro, City haven't been like City have been so bad sometimes.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
that's what I'm saying. But they're focused on champs. They don't. Obviously, they do care about the Prem because the three-peating is a huge achievement. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like their main focus is on Champions League.
no better chance. I can't lie to you. I mean, would obviously get better and stuff, but like, I've just not seen it. I haven't seen it set up this nicely in like ever. Like, it just looks like we'll see.
But yeah, I think that's everything. You know, we've covered the World Cup, the GOAT debate. We've covered Arsenal. We didn't cover City too tough, but City, and there's not really too much to cover with them. And
some NPC club, man. They're just the same.
Yeah, who gives a toss about Man City? Let's be real. We covered United, Chelsea, Spurs, and Liverpool as well. So yeah, we go through a lot of topics. But yeah, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Obviously, we're gonna go ham this year, 2023. We're gonna be getting that content out to you guys. Just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking for the 1 hour and 40 minutes. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.